All right, today we're going, like I stated earlier, we're going to discuss braided funding and how we try to implement these measures and partnerships and collaborations here in Miami Valley CAP in our weatherization program. So first, we'd like to talk about the braided funding and it being defined. The way that we look at it as braided funding is the weaving of multiple sources of funding, including the state, from the federal, and also private sectors, private streams. Also, it pools funding streams toward one purpose while separately tracking and reporting on each source of funding. So that goes in a lot with production, with the different entities that you collaborate with. The braided funding, the goal of a braided funding is, our number one cause in weatherization is, to reduce deferments and walkaways. As a lot of other agencies, we experience that a lot here at Miami Valley CAP. Also is creating channels of communication across the health and housing and energy sectors. Also, it is to leverage different funding sources to have a greater impact on the community. Again, giving the community and the customer, the client, the wraparound services. Also increase the impact of energy efficiency services on low-income households, and most importantly, to gain resort-oriented management. That way we could track what we're doing, and we want to be able to track and see, in fact, if we are successful and with our goals that we're trying to implement here in the community that we serve. And here is just a list of the different funding sources that we use here in Miami Valley CAP that we try to braid together to be able to help the customer out and to be able to make them whole again as possible as we can. We have, of course, the Health and Human Services, which is HHS. We have the Department of Energy, DOE. We have the enhancement program, which has greatly helping us out this year with the lump of funding that we received in this program. We have our utility, which is Centerpoint Energy, used to be called Vectrin. We leverage with that program as well, along with the HWAP, with the HHS and DOE. We have our DPNL, which is distributed to us through OPAE. And now the next ones I'm gonna run through, this is through our emergency home repair program, which Barry will elaborate more on here when he comes to the mic to speak. It's our Housing Assistant Grant Program, which is also known as HAGP, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG. We also have funding from the City of Kettering, which help out individuals in the City of Kettering. The City of Dayton, likewise, as Kettering, helps out individuals that's within the city there. And we have an area on aging, and that funding source kind of helps us on our outer counties that we serve here at Miami Valley. And also we have the emergency home repair that is funded through the CSBG. And all these programs at some point or another work together so that we can be able to give that client a wraparound service, and we could be able to take them out of the deferment and the walkaway status. We also have some partnerships and collaborations and other entities that we do work with. That's Rebuilding Together, Habitat for Humanity, County Corp, Miami County Department of Development, Home is the Foundation, and our biggest one, latest collaboration that we're working on now is with the East End Community Center. And with that, Barry will tell you about the project and the collaboration and partnership we are developing with the East End Community Center that will definitely be a great impact on the local community there that is served, as well as a greater impact with HWAP and our utility programs with us meeting our goals. So with that, do anybody have any questions on that? Comments? All right. So now we will move forward with Barry, and he would dive deeper into this new collaboration that we are going to be experiencing here with the East End Community Center. All right, Barry, it's over to you.
Thank you, Eddie, for a fine job. So that's basically, Eddie has basically defined how we view braided funding. It's leveraging all those resources that are available to you in your community. Our latest collaboration is with the East End Community Center. And this project is called the Twin Towers Project. So East End Community Center serves a low-income population on the east side of Dayton. This particular project will engage 2 different communities, what they call the Twin Tower area, as well as Edgemont. Both of these areas are high energy burden communities in distressed neighborhoods, basically. So the West End or East End Community Center, also DBA, West Care, sought and procured some fundings through the ARPA funding, which is a $350 billion programs for state and local governments. They received a $1 million grant. So some of the outcomes that they're looking for in this grant, as they try to have this unique opportunity to make strategic investments in long-lived assets. So their plan is to renovate 6 storefronts and small businesses to lease, installation of some backyard gardens. But where we come in at, they plan to rehab 15 residential structures for affordable housing, and they plan to weatherize 20 homes. One of the advantages of this is that they will be, we're also partnering along with them, an organization called Clean Energy for All. So with this collaboration, Clean Energy for All will be doing a great deal of the outreach in the community. And we kind of view this as doing community-wide weatherization. One of the things, I don't know if you guys remember Tom Calhoun from COAD was really big on. Another key component of this is that Clean Energy for All will also do the long-term tracking of the impact that we have in this community. And by focusing on these 2 communities, we should have a better perception of what really impact we're having. And then if you're looking at results-oriented management, this should help amplify our points. We're already aware that weatherization is one of the few programs, federal programs, that you can significantly see the return on investment. So for every dollar you invest, you're going to see the dollar return. We also plan on using, to weatherize these homes, we're going to use our utility programs, which is where OPAE comes in, our AES program, which was Dayton Power and Light, but our Vectrum program too. One of the main reasons for this is that we will be able to kind of skirt around the priority point system. So in Montgomery County, we have a priority list, a waiting list, whereas Vectrum, we're able to basically go in and serve those clients as those applications are vetted. So this should bring us some key points, as well as serving those high energy burden potential clients. So we're moving forward with this. It's in initial stages. We hope to do this. I think it's a 2-year program, 3-year program, but we should be able to do a significant amount of homes and be able to determine the great impact, and I'm sure it will be a great impact in these neighborhoods. One of the other things that we're also partnering with a co-op that does weatherization. So the plan is to do deeper retrofits using these companies. So we'll be able to do measures that are beyond the scope or the program guidance provided by Centerpoint or by our emergency home repair program, because we realize that that intersection at health and safety and reducing energy burdens, they all run along that same line. So we'll be able to do that. The hope is that we may even be able to do 1 or 2 solar panels installations on these homes as well, so that we can kind of gauge and measure the feasibility of doing those types of retrofits. So as we move forward, these partnerships, these alliances are going to enable us to not only do the weatherization, but at the health intersection, we have the emergency home repair program that we administer. So we realize that when we go in these houses, particularly because of the low income population, there's probably a large amount of deferred maintenance that we'll be able to use our emergency home repair program in the ARPA funding in conjunction with Centerpoint, so that we can bring that house up to a reasonable level of meeting the local building codes, and making these houses safer and more energy efficient, and allowing hopefully some of these older homeowners to stay in place as they age. So that's basically what the Twin Tower project is going to look like. We have high expectations of this program, and it's good to work in partnership with those communities that have boots on the ground in those areas, because they're more likely to know that population, and to know the needs of that population and how best to serve them. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, let's open it up for any questions. I have one off the top of my head here.
Okay, John.
With regard to braided funding, how is it difficult to report back to the funding sources how their money was used, since you're kind of combining?
Okay, so Eddie, would you like to? Well, one of the things that we do in is that we have a program that we use for tracking our jobs. So we report leverage funding on all these projects. It goes into that system, and so that we're able to keep track of them. We also maintain, so one of the drawbacks is something that we're working on is having a universal application. Sometimes program guidance require you to get additional information that another program may not. So with some of our other partners that we collaborate, like with County Corps or Habitat for Humanity, we all share application. So for example, if I bring a job to the table, I have access to Habitat for Humanity's application. I can get that completed at the same time I'm collecting that information for my program. There are always some slight variance in what's required for different agencies, but as a whole, most of those things that are required to meet that guidance, everybody does. You know, we all require everybody to be current on their property taxes. We all require income statements and ID verifications, and you know, there's some different release forms that each agency has, but as a whole, the information is basically the same. So yeah, it's not that difficult. It's just a matter of keeping track of it and reporting it. You know, the state requires you to report any leverage funding for the HWAP program, for example. So we enter that as we go along with our intake and our invoicing.
Got it, thanks. Bobby, Lisa, any questions? Oh, John's got a question, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Barry, obviously this is a multifamily project, correct?
No, it's not. These are going to be individual homes.
Oh, okay.
So we've talked about doing multifamilies, but in this particular program, we're going to be starting with individual homes. So Clean Energy for All, which is worldwide organization, will be doing the outreach. So they'll basically be doing door-to-door vetting of these clients. They'll be out, they'll be doing all the majority of the client end. Of course, when our inspectors go back in, they'll do the additional energy part of that education. When I go in and do home repair, I'll be doing my client education as well.
How many single family homes make this cluster, I guess?
So we're targeting 20 homes with weatherization. These areas are well defined. I don't have those total areas populations right at my fingertips, but
Yeah.
They're outlined significantly well, so that we will have access to that information.
Okay, because I know there's different set of challenges for multi-families, and that's why I was asking. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, John, to your point, there's a lot of challenges dealing with multi-families.
We could use some right about now too.
Right. I did have a database that doesn't seem to be working that I got from Dave originally, and I used to send it out at the beginning of a contract year to the agencies to access. I'll look back into that and see. It was a way for you to search your area for tax abated multi-families and HUD housing and things like that. So I'll try to help out with that, guys.
Great.
Thank you. And also, John, to that point, the Twin Tower project is also looking to rehab 15 residential structure for affordable housing too as well.
Okay.
So depending on, the clients getting there, we probably could intermingle the funds and be able to help out on that those projects as well.
Okay. It's good. Good information, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Bobby, did you have a question? It looks like you're poised.
No, I didn't have a question.
Yeah. And one of the things, John, that we hopefully will be able to use the AES funding as well as the veteran funding. Thanks to you guys and the great work that you do at your agency.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. We got your contract back. You guys are good to go. We appreciate all the work you guys do at MVCAP.
Yeah.
And thanks for putting this on and giving us some information.
Sure. Anytime. John.
Anytime.
Anybody else? Lisa, Karen, any questions or anything to share?
Just that this team is doing amazing work. Working with all of these different sources, as you all know, is an extraordinary challenge. But it's making the most of all this funding. So it's great that they've been able to do this. We moved a lot of money into home repair last year when we received a lot of CSBG CARES money. So that allowed us to take money out of one pot and move it into another. Like everybody else for the last 2 years, we're playing whack-a-mole with all of our funding sources. So this is like the perfect world, right? When you've got money coming in from all these places and you can manage to make it be 2, 3, 5 times as valuable as it is. So it's really terrific what's happening with these programs.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you guys very much for putting this on. This will be shared with the rest of the membership. And again, if anybody else would like to do one of these OPAE shares programs, we're ready to let you host. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John, for reaching out to Miami Valley CAP to be a part of this session, of these sessions.
You're welcome,
Thank
buddy.
you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.